The looking for group feature, which was implemented into Overwatch not so long ago, has been for the most part a great addition to the game. But of course, as soon as the feature was released, the question on everyone's mind was, does joining a group actually make you more likely to win games versus solo queuing? Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is xCinder, and in this video, I'm going to be going over my personal experience with the looking for group feature and whether or not I think it is better than solo queuing. So without further ado, let's jump into the first matter of business, which is, which feature do I use normally? And the answer to that question is, when I play in my main account, I only use the looking for group feature to find games. I very rarely solo queue. The only time that I do still solo queue is when there are absolutely no competitive groups on the looking for group page. That being said, I still experience the hardships of solo queue a lot, mainly through playing on my alt account, which is also in Diamond. You guys may have also figured out that I'm a pretty hardcore tank main based on the gameplay that I usually feature, so when I'm playing on my alt account, I usually try to play DPS and occasionally healer, but it can be very hard to find looking for groups that haven't already filled up DPS slots, which is why I usually just end up solo queuing. Today I'll be looking back at my climb to Diamond using both of my accounts and trying to figure out which one was easier and which one I'd recommend if you're also a platinum player who's trying to rank up. So the first side of the argument is that using the looking for group feature improves your chances of winning because theoretically you have better communication, you can find groups where everyone's playing their best heroes, and you can enforce the roles so you know that there won't be any douchebag who's gonna pick like a 4th DPS or not play the role that they were assigned to. For the most part, I thought that these were all very good reasons, which is why as soon as the looking for group feature came out, it's really all that I used in competitive play. As soon as you start using the looking for group feature, you can already tell that the skill level in the games are higher and you're just playing Overwatch at a higher level of competitive play. People are more engaged, they want to win more. No one's throwing. Usually you'll get the occasional thrower, but no one's just tilted going into solo queue matches just wanting to throw games. The problem of people leaving games early, essentially ruining the gaming experience for both teams, I think is also reduced when you're using the looking for group feature. Just the people that use the looking for group feature tend to be more dedicated players that actually are interested in winning, want to rank up, and are serious about the game. Those are a lot of good things about the looking for group feature, but there are also potential downfalls, and the main one is that sometimes you'll join a 6-stack and the first team that you play, they just completely outmatch you. They play better than you on all cylinders, and it kind of ruins your experience. You get stomped or they beat you 2-0 on a control map, and then your whole team leaves and you have to start over from scratch. That brings us to our second problem, which is that it can be a lot longer wait between games when you're looking for a group. Oftentimes I found I'll join a group and they'll be waiting for another player to come back, either going to the bathroom or they had to walk their dog. And sometimes those players come right back, or sometimes you'll find yourself waiting for 10 minutes with a 6-stack just to play a game, and then someone will just leave and you'll have to find another player, usually a healer, which can be very hard to find. So if you just want to be playing games consistently, like without long breaks in between, it's probably best to solo queue. During the middle of the day, these 6-stack queues can take up to 12 minutes, at least for me personally. This can sometimes be a good thing though, as I played with a 6-stack before, and we got matched up against a team of entire solo queuers. Absolutely destroyed them. It was just free SR, and we felt pretty bad. But yeah, if you play in the middle of the day, it can be very challenging to find a 6-stack in the first place. And even if you do find one, it can be hard to find another 6-stack to go up against you. So those are the pros and cons for playing with a 6-stack group. Now I'm going to be going over to the other side of the argument and looking at what it's like to solo queue instead. The other side of the argument is that the best way to rank up and get to higher elos is to hop into solo queue and either flex or insta-lock your best hero. When I play on my alternate account, this is usually what I do. I get into games, and depending on the map, I usually insta-lock Genji or I insta-lock Pharah. Most of the time my teammates don't really mind and they'll just play around me and create a decent team comp, but sometimes you'll encounter players in solo queue who just will only play DPS and that's the only thing they want to do. And when that happens, things can get a little out of hand, but I'll explain more about that later in this video. So the main problem that people have with solo queue is that it's really hit or miss. That sometimes you'll have teams where everyone has a mic and you'll all communicate well, and it's basically like you were a 6-stack to begin with. Other times you'll join teams where you're the only person in team chat, no one's talking, and everyone just picks DPS. No one is having fun at this point, and you're all just losing SR and basically wasting 10 minutes of your life. A benefit to playing solo queue is that the other team is usually just as unorganized as you are, which usually makes it easier to solo carry if you're good at a certain DPS, whereas when you're playing as a 6-stack, there's more communication on the other team, and if you're diving the healers, they usually call it out and you'll get stuck with 3 people on your ass. So the next thing I want to talk about is my experience solo queuing this season, which has been really weird. So with the Symmetra rework, I've been playing her a lot more. I'm actually thinking about getting her golden gun, and with about 3 hours played on her this season, I boast I think a 79% win rate, which is pretty good if I do say so myself. But most people really don't care about that, and they'll see me pick Symmetra in the beginning of the game and they'll think, okay, I guess we're throwing. So this season, I'd say that 30% of my solo queue games have been a team where we have like 5 DPS or 4 DPS. But the strangest thing about this is that I've actually been winning a lot of these games, and I don't know what the deal is. It's pretty crazy. Like, the first time it happened to me was on Volskaya Industries. I picked Symmetra, and the rest of the team was like, fuck it, I'll go Doomfist, I'll go Mei, I'll go Torbjorn. We had this horrible team comp, and yet we absolutely destroyed the other team. So for me, that actually helped me get into Diamond, which was picking Symmetra, getting my team to pick a DPS heavy comp, and actually helping us win. So my tip for solo queuing, which might sound a little weird at first, is to actually just insta-log DPS, because even if your team decides that they don't like that you're going DPS, you can actually still win games with a really bad comp, since in solo queue, the other team is usually so unorganized that they won't be able to make a decent comp that will actually counter your comp that has so much damage. So now that we've looked at both sides of the argument, it's time to come to a consensus about which one is better for ranking up. And I think the best answer that I have is really that it depends on which types of heroes you main. I think that if you're a support or tank main, your best bet to winning games is to find a good group that will play around you, DPS that will do their job and get kills. But if you're a DPS main, I think that honestly, your best bet is to go into solo queue and insta-lock that hero that you're really good with, that you know that you'll do well on. And it should be, if you're good enough with that hero, you should be able to get to Diamond even if your team doesn't always comply with your choice. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found this information useful. If you disagree with anything that I said in the video, make sure to comment it down below and we can have a civilized argument about who is correct. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications button so you're always notified every time I upload a video. That's it for me. I'll let you guys watch the rest of this gameplay, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.